If you want to receive monies from UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world, SuperSonics Money Transfer has got you covered. With the largest payout network in the Gambia, you can now receive your monies anywhere you are, from Kartong to Koina, with less hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast, and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locations in the Gambia. SuperSonics Money Transfer. We are currently in 34 African countries and counting, giving you quality money remittance services that are second to none. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the SuperSonics Money Transfer app and enjoy excellent money transfer services only with SuperSonics.
Honorable members, the record of proof and recording the proceedings of the National Assembly of Tuesday, 20th September 2022, before court for correction and approval. Can any honorable member please move the motion for correction and approval of the said record of proof and proceedings? Honorable members, I think we can that we will go page by page, beginning with page 1. Page number 1 from Jara Central. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to move that the record of work and proceedings of the National Assembly honorable members, any second member for your time. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Right. Honorable members, that we move and seconded the record of proof and proceedings of the National Assembly Tuesday, 20th September 2022, considered and approved. No comment? No comment? We move to page 3. No comment? We move to page 4. No comments. We now move to page 5. Page 5 still. No comments. Yes, honorable member for Jonathan. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The paragraph before, the second to last paragraph, in accordance with Order 625-2, in the line, okay. In accordance with the with Order 25, subsection 2, of the Vice President of the Republic, is not continuing, and the following ministers spoke on the issues raised and wound of the debate. The country, the Gambia, is missing there. That one is okay. Members, any comment on that? You know, we have this problem of the Republic and the Republic of the Gambia. Yes, Honorable Majority Leader.
Yes, I think it's okay in original form. It's okay like that. The Republic is that suffice for the Gambia.
Yeah. Okay, but honorable members, I think it's in accordance with Order 25(1) and 2. Order 25(1) and 2. It was Order 25(1) and 2 that I quoted.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Speaker,
Honorable Member for Brickama South.
Honorable Speaker, for consistency purpose, the Honorable Member of Jara Central, if you look at the list of ministers and the Vice President, if you look at the way it is written at the page 6, Honorable Badara Diouf, His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia. So we have to be consistent in our reporting. That place you only stop at the Republic.
His Excellency the Vice President, not the President.
The Republic of the Gambia is there.
Okay.
So for consistency purpose.
Okay, you suggesting that for consistency purpose, when we say Republic of the Gambia.
Because where he was coming from, he was observing it was only limited to Republic without the Gambia. So this here, there is the Gambia. So which are we going to follow? Which procedure are we going to follow?
I understand you well.
Yeah, so I want us to put the Gambia to qualify it.
Your suggestion is for there to be consistency.
Yes.
We are using Republic of the Gambia,
Exactly.
other places Republic.
Okay.
Now, to be consistent, you are suggesting that we use
We put
Republic
the
of the Gambia.
Yes.
Yes. Honorable members, I think there is nothing wrong with Republic of the Gambia. To clear all doubts. So where it appears as Republic, you just put Republic of the Gambia. And on the table of it, we note that when they write this is Republic of the Gambia. Honorable members, page 6. No comments? Yes, Brickama.
Yes.
South.
Again, if you look at the question put and agreed to, the Assembly do adopt the State of the Nation address of the President of the Republic. So we qualified it with the government.
Honorable members, wherever it appears to the Republic, let's complete it with the Republic of the Gambia. Member for Sabak Sanjal.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. If you look at page 6, the date is Tuesday, 20th September 2022. And in page 5, it is captured that at 19 minutes after 1 o'clock in the morning of 21st September 2022. I think the date should also reflect here, as far as it has been captured on page 5, that the list of these ministers' response to question.
You must note that on page 5, it says at 39 minutes after 1. That would be on the 24th. That's why that time factor was done. Are you comfortable? Honorable member? Okay.
I think his concern was, yeah, his concern is on page 6, where you have Tuesday, 20th of September, 2022. It should be Wednesday, 24th of September. So because these are the ministers that took part in the debate, you are capturing them. To reflect the other polling days.
Any more comments from honorable members? Yeah. Also tend to believe that the date stated is Tuesday, that was the day of the proceeding. It continues into Wednesday. After this comment, record September. I have it. Thank you. Clerk.
Corrections for oral answers, standing order 36 and 41 by the Office of the Vice President.
Honorable member, as per the order paper and order 41.1 of the standing order, today is question for oral answers. Order 43 of the standing orders limited supplementary questions to 7 in total. 2 for the honorable member asking the question, and 5 among other members. Therefore, we will proceed with the honorable ministers, starting with His Excellency the Vice President. I thank you all, and we now proceed. Clerk, can we proceed? Honorable members, we begin with question number 0114 of 2022. Honorable member for Latrikunda Sabiji.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. And thank you very much, the Vice President and all the ministers present here. Honorable Speaker, could His Excellency, the Vice President, inform this August Assembly what disaster mitigation measures the government has put in place for disaster-prone areas, particularly in the swampy corridors of Fajikunda and part of Abuko?
Honorable Speaker, thank you. The government of the Gambia is currently in the preparatory phase of a $40 million project with the World Bank called the West Africa Coastal Area WACA, Resilience Investment Projects. Negotiations will take place in December this year, and the project will be effective in January 2023. This project will construct a comprehensive drainage system along the Kotu stream from Abuko to Kotu to minimize flooding in the Kanifing municipality area and part of the West Coast region.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Any supplementary question, Honorable Member?
No, I don't have any supplementary question.
Okay. Then we go to the next question.
Any other move?
Honorable members, after the answers, if any honorable member also has supplementary questions for the honorable ministers, you can just raise your tab. Yes, honorable member for Joshua, to be followed by honorable minority leader.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and thank you very much, the Vice President of the Gambia. On the same questions with regards to the Tanbi area, that is Swami area that he raised, I heard you say that it starts from Kotu stream to Abuko, and it's the same streamline that connects from Old Joshua towards the Abuko area. So what are what are your plans towards the Old Joshua, towards Fajikunda, Ratikunda, Ibotal, New Joshua, because they are all within the swampy and within the streamline area.
Okay, thank you very much. That will be covered under the OIC projects.
Thank you very much. I now have the honorable member for Brickama North and minority leader.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The Vice President, the drainage stream that you talk of said will be covered in part of West Coast. Would this extension be up to Brickama, in particularly the Nyambai Jambarsane area that is flood-prone area within Brickama?
Part of it would be covered. I remember when I visited I think it's the Jamisa area, your area, and part of it will be covered. And also we are in consultation with the EU, because it was EU done, but half of it was EU done by, half of the project was EU done. So we need the EU to complete the project for us. So it will be in part the World Bank, but also in part by the EU.
Thank you very much. Honorable member for Tumanna.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I would like the Honorable Vice President to take us through the routine of the drainage system, because I'm very much particular about Nemakunku. Presently, as I am speaking, there is a point around the field, central field, cars are not able to pass through that place. I don't know whether it's going to affect Nemakunku. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, I'm sorry, I don't have the map of the geography of that area at the top of my head, But I'm sure the project design will determine, the routes of the construction work. But in any case, I can find out from the appropriate quarters and then get back to you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Kiang East.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Your Excellency, is this intervention just going to be limited to Banjul and the greater Banjul area and West Coast region? Are you considering intervening in other parts of the country, for example, up country, where those places that are affected by the flooding? Thank you.
Yes, for this particular project, it will be in the greater Banjul area, but that does not mean that the Office of the Vice President has neglected or has oversighted the orders. We are in discussion with other development partners, trying to find a permanent solution to this perennial problem.
Thank you very much. We now have the last one, Honorable Member for Lower Salem.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for that brilliant accommodations. How far with the negotiation of the World Bank on the project? How far with the negotiation of the World Bank on this project?
Well, as I said, the negotiations start in December and the project starts in earnest in January. So you're looking at a space of about a month and a half. If you take the whole of December and part of January.
Thank you very much, honorable members. We now go to question number 0115 of 2022, member for Brickama South.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, could His Excellency, the Vice President, update the August Assembly the status of the comprehensive study for proper drainage system he promised the Gambian upon visiting the victims of the recent heavy downpour of rains?
Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, the government can confirm that there exist two feasibility studies. One study for the Banjul drainage and sewage done in 2015, and another one for the storm water and sewage systems for the greater Banjul area done in 2014. Both studies have been submitted to the Ministry of Finance and is awaiting funding. The main issue with the drainage-related problems in Banjul is the presence of the solid waste that cause clog in drains and outfalls. To prevent this clogging, and waste needs to be removed from the drains frequently, and a resolution of the present situation by the implementation of the emergency measures therefore requires urgent attention. Plans to resolve the issue include extending concrete drains into the polder area and then building a ring channel for conveyance towards the Bond Road polder. Also, it is recommended that the pumping house structure itself be demolished and replaced with a much smaller pumping house.
Thank you very much, Honorable Vice President. Honorable Member, no any?
Thank you so much. Your Excellency, I don't know to what extent is these studies involving the indigents with regards to their know-how about the drainage pattern, and especially some areas that are prone to they are prone to flooding with existing reservoirs that exist. Are they consulted during the study?
Well, given the timeline of 2014 and 15, I believe that the consultations must have been extensive. But that notwithstanding, just during the last 2 weeks when we had the retreat, we decided to revisit this and say that we'll go back to the drawing board, because this was something like 5-6 years ago. So we need to update it, and in that update, we will be doing extensive and intensive consultations, not only with the stakeholders, but also with the indigents in that area who have a knowledge of the geography of that area. and the expertise or experience.
Member for Brickama South, you have another?
Yes, Your Excellency, I don't know whether the issue, because I want to believe that especially in Brickama, most of these problems are a design problem, the way the highways are constructed, covering certain altitude without drainage system. So they are therefore blocking the natural flow of water to the other side, which bounce back and create a lot of. Are you going to reconsider in the design to factor drainage in those highways that are constructed without drainage? That is causing this problem. And probably an iris crossing or exist to or a culvert to allow the flow of the water to go to the other side of the road.
Well, certainly when we come to do the design, I'm sure the experts will decide as appropriate after surveying the area, since they are with the experience, the expertise, and the pedigree.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Any member? Member for Latrikunda Sabiji.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor, and thank you, Vice President, for your attempt on this very important question. I don't know, what we fail to understand, not all the flooding in this country is caused by lack of drainage facilities. I think the country needs to adopt to new technologies, what we call groundwater harvesting and rainwater harvesting. I don't know whether you guys have consulted any technicians with regard to that. Thank you very much.
Well, as I said, these are international funded projects, and certainly we'll have some consultants, and those people will be updated, I'm sure, in their knowledge as to what is the best way forward when they come to look at the topology of the area and the geography and how it impacts on, disaster, and they will decide as appropriate.
Honorable Member for Kiam West.
Thank you very much, His Excellency the Vice President. I want to look at this drainage system around Talindi and Buba Zone down to Latrikunda. If you look at it, if it gets, you get to the end of German Clinic, that's where it stops. So all those refuse and waters and everything that comes from the drainage will flow down to Fajikunda and another. And you find chicks, playing in it during rain, which is also causing another harm, on the kids and the society. I don't know what best are you guys doing to ensure that we have a complete drainage system from down to the road and to the river. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. We are aware of these things, and we saw the need to have a permanent solution rather than just having short-term interventions, especially during the rainy season, with food aid, and that's it, and it keeps repeating itself. Hence the retreat that we have, which has, policy segments. One, the strategy in the short term, the strategy in the medium term, and the strategy in the long term. In the medium to the long term, it will be an aerial survey of not only the Greater Banjul area, but the entire country, to map out the respective waterways that are, have been blocked or that could cause, floods or whatever it is. And that is something that we will have a comprehensive project, not project, but a program for that, so that at least we discuss with the development partners and see how best they can index it into their budget to help us address this issue once and for all. And it could include not only dealing with the drainage and the culverts and all those things, but also those people who are in waterways, how do we have a resettlement program for them funded?
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Joshua.
Thank you very much, Vice President. I think it is good to build drains, but my question is, after the drains, when the drains are already built, the end points of the drains are very important. What are your plans towards those end points? And number two, when drains are built.
One question.
Okay.
There is, of course, the project does not terminate mid-air, or it does not abort mid-air. It goes to its logical conclusion, from where it starts to where it ends, where it empties itself. So obviously, we'll take care of that. that was what happened in Jamisa, and then we had the problem there. So these are lessons learned which will be factored in.
And the other thing,
Honorable Member for Lower Salu.
Thank you, Honorable Vice President. You have factored on the project for consultancy, whether it's going to be a local one or international consultancy. Consultancy or international one.
No, I think my philosophy is that you have a hybrid, and this is where you can transfer skills to the local ones so that you bring them up to the international standard. Hence, in the future, you don't have to outsource it. You do it, domestically.
Honorable Member for Kantora.
Thank you very much. Honorable Vice President, in the quest for addressing the issue of greenage, wouldn't you see it prudent to also look at the widening of the road to expand? Is it also part of your plan?
The task force to look at this is multifaceted, and the National Road Authority plus their parent ministry, the Ministry of Transport, are all part of this. And I'm sure there are lessons learned in terms of road construction that are without some of these facilities, so that at least in future, you are able to address those kinds of things.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Question number 0116 of 2022, Member for Brickama South.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, could His Excellency the Vice President inform the August Assembly whether the President of the Republic would undertake to fulfill the promise he made during the 5th legislature for the restoration of the Brickama street lighting with CCTV camera and Wi-Fi and the art of the state hospital as he promised.
Honorable Speaker, the government of Qatar promised to support the government of the Gambia to build the Brickama Hospital, but the plans were derailed by the COVID-19 pandemic. However, a Qatari mission was recently in country, and they expressed interest in funding the said projects. The Qatari project got delayed. Government decided to include the Brickama Hospital in the World Bank funded essential health strengthening project, which is currently being implemented. And there is an allocation of $4 million to build a 200 bed capacity in Brickama. The issues with the land allocation for the hospital with the Ministry of Regional Governments, Lands and Religious Affairs and the community of Brickama need to be sorted out. Regarding the Wi-Fi and the CCTV for Brickama, there was an interested investor that actually started work. However, it turned out that their equipment was not compatible with that of Gamtel, and so the mission was abandoned.
Thank you very much, Honorable Vice President. Honorable Member.
Your Excellency, the emphasis here is laid on the restoration of the street lighting. It was his gesture when he wanted to add the Wi-Fi and the CCTV camera. But now we want to forgo about that and let our street lights be restored, especially with that trapezium. And when you come to the issue of the hospital, I vividly remember when the president came to Brickama during the 2018 Meet the People tour. He was hosted in the southern part of Brickama, where we expressed certain major concerns. Notably among them are these two that I highlighted. And he promised with emphasis. He already spoke to the Saudi government initially that they are ready to come and construct the out of the state of hospital for us. So the issue of land was not a major problem. I don't know whether the indigenous of Brickama have been consulted, because I'm constantly in touch with the Council of Elders. If they are ready, I think we should be able to provide the land for this hospital.
Well, thank you very much. I think the source of funding has shifted. As I said, the World Bank is now going to do it. But on the ground, my information is that the issue of land is still a problem. And for the street lights, government is committed to providing the street lights. That one is a firm commitment.
Your Excellency, I think from 2018 to date, it has been long overdue. And I don't know whether the 6 legislators will also escape without the restoration of the street lighting. So yes, I wanted, if there could be a timeline.
Honorable member,
you give us the timeline when is...
Honorable member, post your question.
No, I'm posting my question. I want you to understand the build-up. What I'm saying, can you give us the time frame when are we going to get the street light? 2, when you come to the consultation, with regards
Honorable
to the
member,
land.
you can only put one question at a time.
Okay.
No, I cannot give a definitive timeline because this is a World Bank project, and the World Bank, they have their rules and regulations when it comes to negotiations and when the project would be effective. And we don't have a control over that.
Honorable Speaker, point of order. Who is that? A member for Woolly East? Speaker, point of order. Member for Lower Jomi.
Honorable Speaker, point of order. This is a reminder to honorable members standing on order 43, clause 3. The time taken to ask a supplementary question shall be no longer than 1 minute. An answer to a supplementary question shall not be no longer than 2 minutes. It seems that the members are exceeding the time of asking the supplementary question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable member. Members are fully reminded now. Any more supplementary question, honorable members? Woolly East, member for Woolly East.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Vice President, the question is more emphasis on the street lighting system and the CCTV. So do you have any comprehensive plan? Did you have any project plan before you even get to the World Bank? Is anything actually comprehensively put in place for this?
As I told him that the building of the street lights will be done, and it will be in consultation, of course, with the Brickama Area Council, people, in order to ensure the mapping and all those things. Certainly, yes, we are in consultation, and we will come to a definitive conclusion when we exhaust the dialogue.
Honorable member for Sami.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Thank you very much, Honorable Vice President. This said hospital in Brickama, when are you going to start the construction?
As I said, this is being funded by the World Bank. The World Bank has its procedures, and I know the procedures very well because I worked for that institution for 12 years. It's not something that, is instant. It's not like instant coffee. It's a process. So, we will be able to know that when, after the negotiations, we will know when effectiveness would take place because there are certain conditions, precedents for effectiveness, which we need to fulfill.
Honorable member for Latrikunda Sabiki.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor, and thank you, Vice President, for your answers. I just want to make the government to be very wise in managing land as far as project intervention is concerned. If you go to Brickama, they have existing...
Honorable member, you are not to make a statement.
Okay, let me ask a question now. Can the government...
When I take the floor, you sit down and listen. You are to make a supplementary question and not to tell them what to do.
Honorable Vice President, if you go to Brickama right now, they have existing health structure there. I probably, the project can go up. It's not all about the ghost fire sometimes. We can build story buildings to occupy this hospital instead of occupying another big hectares of land. Thank you very much.
Honorable member, what is your question?
My question is whether the government has any plan instead of acquire another new plot of land for this project intervention, to use the existing facility for the project? That's my question. Thank you.
No, there are certain conditions attached. We cannot use an existing project and go longitudinally. So it has to be a different size.
Honorable Member for Kiang East.
My question pertains to the Wi-Fi for Brickama that the Vice President said was abandoned because of the incompatibility of the equipment of an interested investor and the equipment for Gamtel. Aren't you thinking about outsourcing another investor so that this Wi-Fi project is not left entirely like that?
No, it is not on our cards to start engaging another investor for the time being. It might be in the medium to the long-term future, but for now, for the immediate one, no. I mean, the immediate priority is the hospital and the street lights.
Honorable Member for Brickama North. Pardon? Yeah, you passed it. Okay. Honorable. Now move to question number 0117 of 2022, member for Bakau.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, could the Vice President tell this August Assembly if there are any plans to refurbish state-owned buildings in Bakau for use as accommodation for government guests instead using expensive hotels?
Yes, there are plans to cover the two state house, the one close to the Bakau market and the one where the Vice President used to stay. So those two will be, refurbished and brought to, and furnished and brought to standard so that when dignitaries come, they can occupy those things, which will help government save money.
You talk of only two state houses, but there are other government buildings that are not part of the state house. How about those ones?
The intention is there, but the resources are not there. So we will concentrate our delimited resources on those two for the time being.
Order. No. Member for Janjambure.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. My question is, why is the Vice President not occupying the said state house at Bakau?
That's not a supplementary question.
But it emerged from his response, please.
That is not a supplementary question.
But it emerged from his answer.
Honorable Member, sit down, please. Any other supplementary question? Fonyi Bintang.
Thank you so very much. Vice President, is there any plan for you to generate fund? Because you say there is no fund. What are the plans that you have put in place to generate fund? As I asked, thank you.
The government is in the process of redoing the National Development Plan, and it will be indexed into that in terms relative to resource mobilization when we have the roundtables and the other kinds of consultations to attract funds.
Honorable Member for Opanyomi.
Honorable Speaker, I withdraw.
Thank you very much. Question number 0118 of 2022, member for Fonyi Kansala.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, could His Excellency, the President, the Vice President inform this August Assembly when will the Commission of When would the President commission an investigation into the financial activities of Minister of Health and Works, Transport and Infrastructure in relation to the expenditure of COVID-19 funds and the Banjul rehabilitation project? Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, both the COVID-19 funds and the Banjul Road project were audited. Audit queries were raised and recommendations made. The audit recommendations are being currently implemented by government, so there is no need for the President to commission an investigation.
No supplementary? Yes, please.
Thank you.
When the Vice President answers your question, you can just rise up and then ask your supplementary question.
Thank you. Honorable Vice President, can you help us the total revenue of the COVID-19 funds generated so far?
That is substantive, you know.
I'm not hearing you.
Any more questions? Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. In the Banjul rehabilitation project, can you tell us who the main project consultant was, the name of the consultant of the Banjul rehabilitation project?
I haven't heard this.
I said the contractor of the project. Who was he contracted to?
Honorable member, I don't know what is the problem. You wanted a commission of inquiry on a project that you had researched and believed there were fraudulent activities.
Yes.
And you have been told that the accounts have been audited and government is looking into the audit queries and putting in measures to at least avoid or prevent or correct whatever might have been going wrong. You're now talking about the contract.
Noted.
We have member for Latrikunda Sabeji.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. And thank you very much, Honorable Vice President. You said the government has started implementing the audit report. And I'm very sure this implementation is a process. How far are you guys in the implementation process?
Well, I think in quantitative terms, certain things are not measurable. But I'm sure it is a comprehensive implementation of the recommendations. It cannot be measured in percentages.
Kiang West.
His Excellency the Vice President, I would like to know if there are still funds that the government is spending on COVID-19, because the Honorable Minister rightly stated that COVID-19 is still with us and they are receiving cases and people are affected with it. Thank you very much.
It's a substantive question. If you want, you can put a question for that and it will be answered. Honorable Member for Kalindi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Your Excellency, with regards to the first question on Banjul Road and rehabilitation, your office confirmed to this August Assembly if the government is in custody of the contract document, because the contractor did mention that even the President did not see the contract document.
Point of order.
Can we hear the point of order?
I withdraw.
Honorable Speaker, point of order, please. Honorable Speaker, point of order.
Kantora, member
Yes.
for Kantora?
Yeah, just to make some clarity here, I'm raising a point of order for the 3 subclause 1. Supplementary questions may be put for the purpose of elucidating on an oral answer. So if you are really asking something like a question, it must relate to the minister's oral answer given to you for further elucidation or clarity on it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Controller and Majority Leader. Honorable Member for Talindi, can we hear you again? You withdraw.
I did not. The first question is alluding to investigations and other things. And then my supplementary is regarding the same matter. So it's in line. Because it talks about the...
Honorable Member.
So my question, is...
Honorable Member.
Yes.
Nobody told you you are offline. I said, repeat your question.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My question is, with regard to this thing, could His Excellency, the Vice President, confirm if the government is in custody of the contract document for the Banjul Rehabilitation Project?
Honorable Member, you are just told that the accounts have been audited. How can you audit an account based on what? Without the necessary documentations and all this. Honorable Minister, can you just clear that air?
I think the contract was awarded by the government. So it is just obvious that the government would be in custody of the contractual document because it is, a contract between the government and whoever the contractor is. So that is, as Fibonacci said, in plain sight.
Indeed. Honorable Member
Point of order, Honorable Speaker. Point of order.
Point of order. Can you hear the point of order, please?
When we start our assembly business, we always skip a very important point, that is administration of oaths. I think this event is so important that we have to administer. Ministers are giving us their answers.
Can you quote the relevant standing order?
14, paragraph A. The business at each sitting shall be transacted in the following order. Administration of oaths. We jump that and we do communication from the chair. We also do communication from the, okay, that's not there. We also went up to correction and approval of record of votes and proceedings.
Honorable Member,
you skip this important
Honorable
point.
Member, sit down, please. When I take the floor, sit down. You missed everything up. That is the order of business. It does not necessarily follow that people coming here are going to take an oath. It's learned. There are times when taking an oath is done in the assembly. When you were speaking, you never took an oath again. Honorable members, we now invite the Honorable for Woodley East.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, two ministries are mentioned in this section. That is the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Works. So my question is the audit queries that were raised, is it raised on the two ministries or is just one? And if it is one, which one?
I guess the COVID-19 funds are under the Ministry of Health, and the Banjul project is under the Ministry of Works. So the audit report obviously covered both projects, and respectively the Ministry of Health and Works.
Honorable Member for Banjul Central.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Your Excellency, as pertaining to the audit queries that you've highlighted from pertaining to the COVID-19 funds and that of the Banjul Rehabilitation Project, it's obvious that it's a query and you've made mention that the government is looking into these things. So my question is, if at all, upon findings of misdemeanors or deficits or lapses within, Is the government ready to put due diligence to these queries? That's my question.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, Honorable Speaker, as I said, we are implementing this, and I'm sure if and when we come across those things, the government has the courage of its own convictions.
Honorable members, we now move to question number 0119 of 2022, member for Upper Shalom.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the government of the Gambia pays millions of dollars on rental properties on a yearly basis. Could the Vice President tell this August Assembly if there are plans to use unoccupied government properties in the Greater Banjul area to cut down expenditure on rent?
I tend to believe that the Vice President may not see the answer, because even on our records, question number 0119 of 2022 is missing on the sheet where answers are provided. It is only stated on the documents of your questions. So it will seem as that question, if the Vice could not find it, it means something must have happened, and we will have to take note, and then we pose the question again.
Honorable Speaker.
Events.
Honorable Speaker.
Yes. Yes, Upper Shalom.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Speaker. With your kind permission, I would like to withdraw this question so that I can pose the question again.
Thank you very much, because the question is in fact similar to the previous question as regards government properties. That was specific to Bakau. Thank you very much. We now move to question number 0120 of 2022, member for Upper Salum again.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, would the Vice President confirm to this August Assembly if the government has identified and protected key national infrastructure?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Before answering this question, we were in consultation with the Honorable Member, because when you say national infrastructure, it could be roads, it could be buildings, it could be IT infrastructure and so on, for clarification. And it is on the basis of that clarification we forward this answer. Honorable Speaker, the government is aware of the security risks to key institutions such as the Central Bank, GAMCEL, NAVEC, as well as vital systems and services such as the IFMIS, banking networks, and the internet landing sites. Adequate physical security is in place for all these vital government infrastructure and services. With regard to cybersecurity is relatively new here, and so when the Information and Communications Act of 2009 was being formulated, it took only into context computer misuse and cybercrime. Currently, legislation of the IC Act has provision to combat cybercrime and specifies what constitutes an offense and the corresponding penalties. However, procedural matters involving evidence gathering and handling as well as investigations were not detailed. Due to these reasons, government through the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy acted swiftly to make the IC Acts more comprehensive by conducting a review to incorporate cybersecurity provisions while specifying critical information infrastructure protection. Cybersecurity legislations, as well as to provide the mandate to the Gambia's Computer Security Response Team under PURA for cyber threat intelligence gathering and alerting its constituencies. Other activities being embarked on include the formulation of a holistic cybercrime bill, which is in cabinet awaiting endorsement. As part of the IC Act review, the draft has been submitted to the Ministry of Digital Economy and is awaiting stakeholder comments. As also a national security, cybersecurity policy has been validated and submitted to Cabinet for endorsement. The vision of this policy is to ensure, one, the Gambia with a secure, resilient, and trusted cyberspace for enhanced inclusive socio-economic development. Specifically, for the IFMIS, there is data encryption between the routers of the sites as the data moves from the sectors to the Accountant General's Department. This provides cyber protection known as the man-in-the-middle level attack. The system uses an encrypted virtual private network, VPN, for all users connected from the internet, like the embassies, such sub-treasuries and subvented institutions. This service is provided by a firewall that is positioned between the internet and the IFMIS network. There is also a disaster recovery site in the Combos, which provide backup in case of a disaster like fire at the primary site, which is at the AGG office in Banjul, so that government business can continue without much interruption. For the central bank, there is a virtual private network in place to deny unauthorized access to the central bank network and system. Additional networks diagnosis tools, such as SolarWinds, together with the firewalls, are deployed to protect the system. Cognizant of the rise and sophistication of attacks, the bank has embarked on the modernization of its ICT infrastructure, which includes enhanced cybersecurity service tailored to monitor, detect, and prevent cybercrimes. This enables the bank to take quick and efficient measures to handle incidents efficiently and build additional resilience into the ICT infrastructure.
If you have supplementary, immediately he finishes, you can just rise to ask your supplementary. If you sit down, it denotes that you don't have supplementary and we move to the others.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And thank you, Vice President, for that in-depth answer to the question. And that's exactly what I was looking for. Now, would you consider creating a policy that would also help you to guide and identify such infrastructure, not only in the government side, but also in the private sector? Because the two actually can form a very formidable force in terms of infrastructure that will make this country to work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, the logic of interest dictates that we do that. We consider that and factor it in.
Any other member? No. We now move to question number 0121 of 2022. Say member for Lower Salu. This I have Lower Salu.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, could His Excellency the Vice President tell this August Assembly about the efforts of the National Disaster Management Agency on the recent flood?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. When the floods happened, the President of the Republic of the Gambia and the Vice President visited communities and engaged with affected population. The Vice President convened an emergency meeting that set out the following actions, and he continues to give strategic guidance to the NDMA and the partners engaged in the response effort. Responses to the disaster so far include the following: procurement of food items, 850 bags of sugar, 850 drums of oil, 20 liters of cooking oil, and 1,500 bags of rice, 50 kilo, worth 6 million for the affected population across the country. Partners support with non-food items such as tents and bed nets, which have been distributed to the affected population. Relocation of severely affected households and provision of temporary accommodation to internally displaced population within the Greater Banjul area. Provision of various household items such as mattresses, fans, nets to the victims. Provision of medical support to the internally displaced population.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Vice President. I must also commend you and the Vice President and other members of the National Assembly. We have been seeing you entering in the huge amount of water.
A supplementary question, Honorable Member?
Yes, I am coming up because he did something that is commendable, that we have to say. Yes, the reason why I come with this correction, just to make things happen.
Honorable Member, do you have a supplementary question? If you don't have supplementary questions, any more supplementary questions?
Yes, I have it. Thank you. How this response were distributed to the affected families?
I don't understand it.
Did you say?
You list an amount of items, rice, gallons, mattresses. How are they distributed to the affected families?
Thank you very much. Some of them were direct distribution. Others were sent to the regional governor's offices for distribution.
Yes, Honorable Vice President. In Lower Salem, there are affected families who doesn't. Yes, in my constituency, there are people who are affected, and there was no response to those people, or those affected victims.
I will check with the appropriate authorities why that was not done, and if it was not done, I'll ensure that it is done.
Honorable Member for Bundum.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much, His Excellency Vice President, for coming up with a permanent solution as far as flood is concerned. Notwithstanding, I want you to inform the August body the temporal solution on flood, because right now the permanent solution is coming. But what I want to whether there is any contingency in place so that before the completion or the implementation of the project, whether there is any contingency that can mitigate flood. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. We dealt with the ones that happened the past few weeks, and we hope and pray that we don't have something like that. But in case, it will follow a similar pattern, for the time being, until we put our acts in order and deal with them comprehensively.
Honorable Member for Fonyi Kansala.
Thank you very much, Vice President. What causes always the delay response from the NDMA side in terms of disasters?
Well, thank you very much. I don't consider it delayed. You must have a rational step. Something cannot happen and you just jump into it without knowing the head and the tail. So one, they need to assess the impacts of the disaster. Secondly, who are the target groups? And thirdly, determine what type of aid that would come. And that takes time. It's not just like you do it now and you act now, and it will be irresponsible for any institution to act like that. It must take a rational step in order to do the proper assessment and then know what the needs are and how to address them, and then take the appropriate measures to address them.
Honorable Member for Fonyi Jarol.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Thank you, Honorable Minister. I just want to find out whether there is any emergency fund either created or kept by the director or the minister for immediate response to emergency situations, as there is always a delay in response.
Honorable Member, the delay to the response is just, even if there is, he said they have to do a lot of logistical and other distinct investigation, find out before they can act.
I'm not asking whether there is an emergency fund, because if there is no emergency fund, I don't think they'll be able to respond on time.
Honorable Speaker, the answer is yes.
Honorable Member for Banjul North.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Your Excellency, I just want you to update us on, is there any plan in terms of supporting the affected families during the recent flash flood in Banjul that are currently at the Friendship Hostel? Because I was told that they were asked to vacate the place before Friday. Thank you.
Yes, they were moved to Friendship Hostel, and then the government provided lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I think perhaps they became so comfortable, they invited some of their families outside, and we have increased numbers. Then we gave them notice to vacate. And they said that we should pay their rent 3 months arrears. Some of them lived in Tobacco Road, and we realized that they owe the landlord rent arrears, and they know they cannot pay. So we told them to go back. They said no. They want to go back somewhere else, but we should give them 3 months rent. Knowing, then when we investigated further, we realized that the places they wanted to go, those people have asked for 3 months rent deposits. And I don't think it is a government's mandate. But in the end, His Excellency the President decided that we'll give the 11 families there each 10,000, and then they have to vacate the area because they are not. It's not going to be permanent. It was just temporary.
Honorable Member for Upper Fuladu West.
Yes, thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. My supplementary question that I want to ask the Vice President, do the government of the day have any plan to relocate those inhabitants who are living within the flood areas?
Yes, we have plans. I am not sure whether I forgot to indicate that, but as I said during the retreat, we had medium to long-term plans. And there is provision in the plan to relocate and resettle, where government would have the layouts for them on high ground and move them there. And where it involves compensation, we'll take care of it. So there are plans to do that.
Honorable members, we now move to question number 122 of 2022. Member for Serekunda West.
Honorable Speaker, could the Vice President inform this August Assembly the extent of the devastation caused by the current floods across the country, relief given to victims, and plans to mitigate the effects of floods in the future?
Honorable Speaker, as of Wednesday, 7th September 2022, a total of 4,811 households with a population of 56,624 people were affected by the disaster. In total, 13 people lost their lives. Damage caused by the flooding included damage to houses and properties. 2. As previously mentioned, government purchased rice, sugar, and oil worth 6 million, which is being distributed across the country. 3, unconditional cash transfers by the National Disaster Management Agency and funded by the World Food Program is ongoing across the country. The activity is targeting 5,460 most vulnerable household victims across the country. Each household is entitled to 2,350 monthly for a period of 3 months. The government is currently developing a national disaster management policy strategy and an action plan which will build the resilience of the country to disasters by ensuring that it has the requisite capacity to prepare for, respond to, and recover from disasters.
The honorable member. We have member for Latrikunda Sabiji.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor, and thank you, Vice President. When disaster hits, the first thing we do is to collect the data. The last time it happens, I went to disaster management, they said all their vehicles were not in order. So I don't know whether your office has any plan to provide them, to make them resourceful.
That did not come to my notice, and certainly I went round with them the first, very day that these things happened, and that they responded, but without telling me that they have some logistical issues. But if they do, I expect the managing director to come to the office, and we see how best we can address that.
Honorable Chair, may I observe, please?
Who is saying observation?
Yes, Honorable Member for Lower Sun.
Lower Sun?
Yes.
Yeah, you want to observe what?
Yes, the same questions which I raised and the same question which the member for Serekunda, and the same answer that the vice is giving.
I'm not hearing you.
What I'm saying here is, my questions to the vice president about this flood is the same the member for Serekunda also asked, and it's the same response that the vice also is giving. Why not we go for another question?
Honorable member for Joshua?
No, it's the same question.
Member for Joshua. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Your Excellency, what are your plans with regards to most of these block waterways that cause most of the disaster, especially within my constituency? Thank you. Vice, before you answer, honorable members, Majority Leader and Member for Kantora reminded us of the provisions regarding supplementary questions. Let every member note it down or make reference to you. I don't want to put members off. We make sure we are online. Your Excellency, you can go ahead.
I think I outlined the generic nature of floods in this country, and of course, a holistic plan to address, those hopefully in future, and Joshua will not be an exception to that.
Honorable Member for Kiang West.
Your Excellency, Vice President, you've indicated that the World Bank funded project to respond to affected the disaster flood. There is a monthly disbursement of 2,000 plus, if I am right, to number of households. So I don't know how much is the total cost of the project because it's lasting for 3 months.
Thank you very much. It is not every 3 months. What I said was it will help them for 3 months, and then the project stops. It's not for every 3 months.
Honorable Member for Lower Salon. Honorable Member for Tumanna.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I want to ask if the government of the Gambia have any plan to partner with the NAMS through NDMA on the issues of disaster, as these victims are looking directly to us. Yes. Thank you.
Speak. Yeah.
It's okay.
Honorable Member, you have a right to ask your questions, substantive questions to the Minister. We are regulated by our own regulations. That supplementary questions must be informed by the answers given to you. You cannot bring in something new into supplementary questions. Please, let's take note of that. Member for Woli East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, could the Honorable Vice President please explain to us what method is utilized to determine the compensation given to a victim? If a victim, one victim has a cement block house, line house, devastated, and another victim has a hut, how do you determine the compensation? For example, because I hear you giving 10,000 to each, are they of the same?
Well, I think you, in a way, answered the question because there's differential disaster. One is mud block, and the other one is, cement block, and so on. So obviously, there will be differential response. It cannot be on the same playing field. That will not be social justice.
Honorable members, we now move to question number 0123 of 2022. Give the floor to the Honorable Member for Sabak Sanjal.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, could His Excellency, the Vice President, inform this August Assembly of Government's strategic plan to minimize the high unemployment rate? Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, the government has formulated a new national employment policy and an action plan 2022 to 2026. And its main objective is to create more gainful and decent employment opportunities for the growing labor force, particularly the young people and women. The target is to create up to 1,050 jobs over a period of 5 years. Also, government has developed a major strategic plan to mitigate unemployment rates in the country and promote decent work by reviewing and repealing the Labor Act 2027, as some aspects of the act are outdated and no longer address the emerging challenges in the labor market. In addition, a new Labor Bill 2020, which aims to provide for the administration, recruitment, and hiring of labor, protection of wages, and registration of employers' organizations, trade unions, and other matters connected therein, is in place. Under the new bill, the scope and the implementation of the expatriate quota system has been strengthened, and businesses will no longer be able to employ foreign workers except where such expertise does not exist in the Gambia.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you, Vice President, for that answer. I think you've answered my question. I don't have any supplementary question. Thank you very much.
Any member for Nyani?
Thank you very much, Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, could the Vice President, His Excellency, inform this August Assembly on what plans do the government have in restoring the GPMB rice processing factory in Kuntawu so as to promote employment opportunity for the youth around that area?
What is happening? Honorable member, we are on supplementary questions.
Okay,
on the question by the honorable member for Sabak Sanja. So we have other members who may want to, who have supplementary question, who will ask. We have member for Fonyi Bintan.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, the Vice President. The Vice President, you spoke of policies and strategies, and the member is asking for implementation. How soon do you want to implement these things?
Sorry, observation, point of observation.
Implement what thing?
Observation, Honorable Speaker.
You are observing, wait.
No, because you are misquoting me. I did not ask for implementation. I said government's strategic plan to minimize the high unemployment rate, not implementation, please. Thank you.
My honorable member, you never asked the question. If you want to ask your question, you can ask your supplementary. Don't attribute it to somebody. The questioner himself said he's satisfied with the answer. Who are you to say no, he's not satisfied? Honorable member for Busumbala.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and thank you very much, the Vice President, for appearing before us. My question will be, you did make mention of the minimum wage being captured in the new Labor Act. Can we have an idea or enlighten us about how much are we talking about here? Thank you.
I think it would be the labor bill that will come before you, and then you will have to confirm that within the proposal therein.
Honorable member for Kantora.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor, and thank you, Excellency, for providing these answers. You did mention in your utterances or response that you will be providing 1,050 jobs. Would this job availability be cross-cutting across all regions, or is it concentrated in Greater Banjul area?
Honorable member, is it 1,050 or 150,000? I have on my records, the target is to create up to 150,000 jobs over a period of 5 years. Is it error? Pardon?
Well, my error then, but what is here is 150,000. I'm sorry about that.
This is what I have.
Mea culpa, mea maxima culpa.
We now have member for Banjul Central.
Questions? Yeah, it's respond to my question. Yeah, thank you.
Of course, it will be across the country, not only one region.
Thank you,
Member for Banjul Central.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Your Excellency, with regards to the government strategic plan, which is really welcome in minimizing the high unemployment rate, is there within the strategic plan a special cater for those that have been repatriated from the Western countries, namely the backward people?
Obviously, it is an all-inclusive strategy, so they will not be left out.
Honorable members, question number 0124 of 2022. Member for Sabak Sanjal.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, once again for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, could His Excellency, the Vice President, inform this Assembly whether government would consider facilitating voting of Gambians abroad in the next election cycle? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The government of the Gambia is willing and committed to facilitating Gambians in the diaspora to vote in elections and consultations and engagement between the government and all relevant stakeholders started and will continue. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians abroad, the Ministry of Justice will soon restart the engagement with all the relevant stakeholders, particularly the diaspora representatives, the Independent Electoral Commission, and the National Assembly to find solutions to the hurdles impeding the operationalization of the diaspora voting and representation.
Once again, thank you, Your Excellency, for that honest answer. As I stated before, I have no supplementary questions with regards to that. Thank you.
Member for Brickama South.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I think this issue of diaspora voting is captured in the election bill that is before the Parliament here. I don't know whether your office or the government is looking in retabling it for us to.
Chimchina tong, Ruchaku Kanjakawi, Washington, them Kau Unor Mak, the Bitain the Bumpany Winkri Pisium Puya. Ko, Mkatu Lamp, Mkati Kata, Mkau Unor Mak, Tuseni. Chim Pichangatimu, Ebe Nirano, Bu think it a jar. Tukan legi kitup Pichangatimu, the Washington COVID-19 Relief Fund, Ika Bukawulu Umil. Uncham US dollar. Uncham we chitibatiet. Ndika look teburka ye pupulokoko. Kambeku na bukul, brika fakul, brika wulkul pising, teburka wulkul ice. Teko irika norano, we uchim ngalka kai kater uchakumunto. Bitendibi, mpurputup ki pichanga timu, purpu kabul, o uchim purat, purpu pijaukul, ba pichenolka timu. Prupi kabutindi ti ngaldi monjaku plane application bi ka joti ti pli November pli September munun taja ngene kuwas ka te pli November munun taja ngene ngunu go back te koy ci tibuluk ci free uci ngal ba juraru legi te panki bonfu na ba ñaka ki wo wak ko juraru legi